What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here. We are talking about Watcher of Realms, and guys, I want to do a quick video about this Frostfall Jamboree event, specifically in regards to this redeem shop. I want to talk about what you should be focusing on picking up and what you should be avoiding. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Immortal Shop. There's going to be some math involved, so make sure to stick around for that. Of course, you might have to do some of the math yourself, but we'll get down into the nitty-gritty. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. Let's dive right into the video. So, first things first, I want to talk about something that's probably a little controversial, and that is the Cretum Exclusive artifact. Now, this costs 4,000 of these Frostfall surprises, which is a heavy investment. However, I do think that it is worth it for most players. There is a select group of players where it's not worth it, and those are the players that have gotten either really lucky or whaled out really hard and gotten several copies of the Nether Messenger. If you have a max Nether Messenger, or at least several copies of Nether Messenger, the Cretum Exclusive is going to probably not be worth it for you. However, if you're like me, using both Hex and Cretum, and you have not a single copy of Nether Messenger, or you have, for example, maybe one maxed out copy of Nether Messenger, picking up this Cretum Exclusive artifact is going to actually be pretty beneficial, I believe, for a Cretum in Guild Boss specifically, but also in other single target DPS game modes. And so that is why I picked it up. I got a pretty large increase in my Cretum's DPS by equipping this over, for example, the Idril's Gaze or the Keen Wisdoms that I was attempting to use in Guild Boss on my Cretum. And so that is why I picked it up, and I would recommend you do the same unless you are in one of those other situations. The next thing I want to talk about is what are the main things you should be focusing on. And the first thing right off the bat, the most important thing in this entire shop is going to probably be the legendary skill crystal. The reason is because these are incredibly rare. You can only get them very rarely, and you need a ton of them to make a hero viable. The damage that a hero can do is going to be almost always dependent on having skill ups in their abilities. For example, an unskilled versus a skilled Zilla 2 could be the difference of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, tons of damage, right? That is the point I'm trying to make here. Is legendary skill crystals very important. Highly recommend you pick them up. The next things that are probably going to be important are going to be the ancient summoning crystals and the rare summoning crystals. The reason is this is a hero collector, guys. You need summons to collect the heroes. We also have an ancient summoning banner coming up this weekend, which puts more value on the ancient summoning crystals in my personal opinion. What's this going to do for you is going to give you a chance to get into your pity and get that epic or legendary lord that you could potentially get from summoning, which is really, really awesome. We also have two very good banners coming this weekend as well, so the rare summoning crystals have pretty high value as well, so definitely highly recommend picking up both of those. The next thing that I personally think is probably a good idea, but is up completely dependent on your account and your current state of the game, and that is going to be the epic skill dust, the epic skill crystals, and the legendary skill dust. This is completely dependent on where you are with your account. As you can see here, I picked up epic skill crystals and I picked up legendary skill dust. The reason is because I have a ton of skill dust for epics, but I didn't have any skill crystals, and I had several epics that needed skill crystals to be maxed out, and so I went ahead and picked those up. The reason I picked up the legendary skill dust is because I have been blessed and gotten a ton. You'll see that I'm out now, but I had a ton of legendary skill crystals, and I needed the dust in order to catch up, and so I went ahead and picked those up, and I did not at all. I'm not mad about it, right? I made a lot of progress due to picking up this legendary skill dust. Now, there's a couple things that I'm going to recommend that you avoid here. The first thing I'm going to recommend you avoid is the flawless meteorite shards. They're useless. Don't do it. It's not worth the cost. There's other things that are more important here. If you somehow have found a way to completely buy out the entire shop, including the gold and the XP, then sure, pick them up, but you're not gonna get there, right? The next thing I'm going to recommend you avoid is both the mythic and the legendary extracts. Now, you'll see I broke my rule here, and I did pick up these mythic extracts. The reason is because it was the difference between podiuming and not podiuming in a leveling event. I didn't have enough time to get the rest of the stuff, but picking up these mythic extracts literally got me just enough points to sneak in a win. So that's the reason I picked those up, but you should avoid them. Then there's a couple things that are nice to have, but not required. And that is going to be this avatar border. It's really cool. It's a special thing. I was here during this event, but it doesn't actually do anything to your account. So it's unnecessary unless you have extra currency at the end. And then you have the XP bonus, the XP itself, the gold bonus, and the gold itself. These are very, very good. Okay, XP and gold are very important for the game, but they're also very low tier, and in my personal opinion, you only want to pick them up once you've picked up everything else that's in the shop. Okay, then there's the last thing that I've been sort of avoiding talking about, and that is the Alistair shards. The reason I've been avoiding talking about this is because I don't think most people are going to need to purchase these, and I hope you haven't purchased any of them yet. My reasoning is there are plenty of Alistair shards available just from participating in the events, and I don't think you're going to need them at all. However, what I would recommend is that you hold a stockpile of 2,000 of these stockings, so in the event that you get close to the end and you're going to miss Alistair, you can purchase up to 20 shards of Alistair in order to get his fusion complete. Again, this is only really going to be for certain people who have screwed up on accident and missed, a specific shard number, from one of these events, or you are aiming to podium to get those last 10 shards and you miss out and you only get maybe 5, whatever the case is, and you need to pick up a couple extra. It's good to have some of these stockings in your back pocket. All right, that covers up the Frostfall shop. Hopefully that made a lot of sense for you guys. I think I gave you guys some pretty interesting information, so hopefully that helps. Then I want to talk about the Immortal Shop. In order to do that, we need to talk about the potential that you have access to by participating in the Immortal Codex. So first things first is you're going to get point rewards every day based on your score, okay? So if you can get to A+, S+, whatever, you're going to get a certain number of the Immortal Sovereign currency. And so we're going to do some quick math here so you guys can see I've actually already done it. You'll see it here on the calculator. We're assuming that you can get an S ranking here, okay? So if you can't get an S ranking, or you can get more than an S ranking, you'll need to do the math by yourself, okay? But this is the rough average of what you should be getting, provided you can hit S, as also provided that you can hit the top 10%. Okay, which means you'll have access to 14,560 currency, and that's an important number because now we know how much currency we have to play with. Okay, so first things first, in this shop there is one thing only that you should be picking up, absolutely, and that is the 3 gear recasting hammers, and that is because they have the highest value in this shop, in my personal opinion. Okay, there's very, very rare. Very rare, okay? And so picking them up is going to be very important for you because it could be the difference between a garbage piece of gear and a beautiful, amazing piece of gear that allows you to push crazy good numbers in certain content, okay? Highly recommend picking up the gear recasting hammers first. The next thing that I highly recommend picking up is, oh, you guessed it, the legendary skill crystal. Again, these things are very rare. Having 2 in one event is crazy, right? So I'm very, very excited about it. I love it. You know, when you only get access to, so many of these per month, the more you can pick up, the better. All right. Then we're going to talk about the summons. You should pick all the summons up, guys. There's no reason not to pick up all the summons. They're great. We love summoning. It's a gacha game. You need to have summons in order to get heroes. You need to have heroes in order to get content. Highly recommend you pick up all of these summons. Then I would recommend picking up the diamonds, followed by the 5-star psychic powers, followed by anything else extra you have going into the gold. Now, let's see how much we have access to, okay? So right off the bat, we're going to subtract 3,000 from this number. This is going to give us 11,560. This is for the purchasing of this right here, okay? Then we're going to subtract 2,000, and that is for the purchase of the legendary skill crystal. That screwed up. Hold on one second. Let's subtract 5,000 here. Boom, 9,560. And then we're going to look at the summons. So here we've got 2,400 for the ancient summons. That's 7,160 remaining. Then we have 2,000 for the legendary skill crystal. Then we've got another 2,000 for the rare summons. Then we have, I believe this is, let me double check this math here real quick on my other screen, because I'm bad at math. That's 1,000. We've got 1,000 there for the diamonds, and then that leaves us with 2,160 remaining. So again, this is assuming you're only getting S and top 10%, so you should be able to buy out all of the important stuff if you're able to hit these numbers. 5-star psychic powers, very good, okay, but they're not super required, right? Eventually you're going to run out of stuff to level and start anyways. This is just going to speed that process up a little bit more, which is definitely good. And if you are in the early game, getting 5-star psychic powers, getting your first, second, or third 6-star could be game changing for you, okay? But ultimately you should be able to purchase everything in this shop that is important, right? And of course, if you can get into, you know, for example, the top 5%, right, you're going to get an extra 40 a day, which this lasts for, I think it's 14 days, if I remember correctly. So that's an extra 560, right? And odds are that will probably get you, that probably will require you to get, I'm so bad at this, there we go, probably require you to get this S plus ranking, because that's roughly what it's taking me, which adds an additional 30 per day times 14 days, 420 plus 560. That's 980 plus the 2100 that we had before. So there you go, 3080. That gives you the last little bit you needed to pick up both of these 5-star psychic powers. So, I hope that helped, guys. I definitely recommend picking up this stuff in roughly this order. As you can see, I'm holding my currency in this Immortal Shop until the end because I want to make sure that I pick up all the correct stuff. And it's better because, for example, you know, the gear recasting hammers are good, but if we have the events come before I have enough to purchase everything, I want to make sure I have this currency to purchase these shards for this weekend shard summons. So, that is it, guys. I hope that helped. I hope you got some pretty good information from there. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment down below with what ranking are you guys getting in the Immortal Codex so far. I'm really excited to do the second boss, which should be coming out here very soon. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look forward to that video. And if you want to see that video and be notified when it goes live, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.